Hello, everyone. This is Rick with the Cyber Pro Podcast. 5 questions in 9 minutes. Patrick never sleep. Let's get right to it. Patrick, who are you and what do you do?
Hey, Rick. My name's Patrick Gillepsie. So I am a manager of a network penetration testing team at GuidePoint Security. I am also a CEO or the CEO of Boost to Cyber. So I've been in IT and cybersecurity for about 18 years now.
Nice. So a lot going on in your
A
world,
lot going on.
and I also know that you are a veteran as well as a number of the folks that you work with. So thank you for your service.
Appreciate it.
Talk to me about why you love being in cybersecurity.
So what I've loved about cyber is personally, and more of a selfish reason, is it's constantly changing, right? I don't get bored. I hate being bored. So since even in IT before I was technically cyber or offensive security, there's always something more to learn, right? Some new technology, something new come out, that everybody has to buy and you got to figure out how it works. So on the other side of it is being able to help others protect what they care about. So whether that's a business owner that has a small business and doesn't gets all this information about how bad cyber attacks are and all the damages it could do to his or her business, because all it takes is one employee clicking a link, you get ransomware and your business could shut down forever, right? And you've worked so hard for that, so we can come in and help protect those small businesses, help protect those jobs, because there have been so many times where a company or small business does have to close their doors after a ransomware attack, didn't have the proper backups, didn't have, any way to, recover that data. So those are kind of the two big things that what I like about cybersecurity and the technology in general.
That's amazing. And I know it seems to be a big trend with people like us just not wanting to be bored.
Oh yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
The world talks about cybersecurity as a top concern, and it's all over the news every day. But what does that mean to you?
So for me, being a top concern is really about the risk and the threats. So you're an Army vet too. So when you're preparing for a mission, there's always going to be obstacles. Now, whether that's human error on your own side, insider threats is the biggest successful attack. Mistakes, right? You're going to have mistakes. We're all human. Chat GPT hadn't taken over our jobs yet. So, um, so for the top issues though is, again, plans are great, but there's going to be obstacles, right? Whether that's your own, like I said, mistakes that you make, there's going to be competition, there's going to be, enemy forces, so on and so forth. You have to be aware of that, because you can't just say, I'm going to go make a business and we're going to do this great thing to help people. But if we don't protect ourselves, we're just opening ourselves up for disaster, essentially. So being able, like I kind of mentioned, kind of answered on the other question, was, helping protect what you care about, because when you're a business owner, you're responsible for not only your employees, but their families, right? You're their livelihood. There was a business in Arkansas, Little Rock, a few years ago, right before Christmas, got ransomware. Business had no backups. They shut down. 300 employees lost their job in December because of ransomware. So it's like things like so those are the top concerns. Now, it can be overwhelming though, especially for those that don't have a technology, and a lot of business leaders don't have that background as an IT person or cyber technical person. Except for, CIOs and CISOs, but it can be overwhelming too, because, it's one of those things that you hope it never happens. But you sometimes got to put a lot of effort into, the protection and the defense and those sorts of things. So to me, I think the top concern would be just, not putting yourself out there as being a weak target, and providing the proper training and resources for your people to, not only protect their work data, but their personal data, because that will affect your business as well if they're not taking good cyber hygiene at home too, and their personal accounts and so on and so forth.
Patrick, I appreciate and respect your holistic views on, the ownership and the cybersecurity concerns for not just the person, the employee, the family. It's very refreshing. Take that and whatever else is on your mind and share the insights that you'd like to share with our network of cyber folks.
Yeah. So the biggest insight I have for those that are in cyber, I know it's tough, right? You're either possibly working a SOC, 8, 10, 12 hour shift. You're defending your company's network, or you're defending 1,000 clients, right? Going through, SIM logs from their EDRs and NDRs and those sorts of things. I know it can be tiresome, but just, don't stay where you're at, right? Always continually to progress. So try to figure out. So with cyber, there are dozens of roles, right, that you can do. Not everybody's meant to be a hacker, right? Pen testing thing. That's not for everybody, right? But neither is governance, risk, and compliance, GRC. So there's and those are two broad differences, but there's a ton more, right? So you can be a part of cyber without having to do those mainstream ethical hacker things, right? So you can be involved with basic hygiene and, learning about the NIST compliance and, CIS level and, those sorts of things to help your own environment. But even if you're in IT, they won't, you can help defend, the network, the part that you're responsible for essentially. But the biggest piece of insight that I can do, whether that's for your career, for the job you're in, for your next step, is don't do it alone, right? Kind of where I wore this shirt today. So you're not going to know everything, right? And even when you do know everything, you're not going to learn anything more, right? So you got to keep learning. Read books, they don't have to be technical, but, read leadership books, read just, be a better person. Cause the more you can relate and talk to others, cause, with the whole social media in the last 20 years and everybody's connected digitally, we've quit making phone calls on our telephones, right? So a lot, like my kids, teenagers, they don't understand making a phone call. Why would I do that, right? And that makes them anxious, very nervous, right? And I see that even in, entry level people is you got to rely on others, right? Because you may love networking and understand that piece, routing and switching, but you're probably not going to understand the development side, right? Maybe DevSecOps or so you need to, find people, find your group or your tribe to walk with you in your career. That way, when you do have a obstacle in your path, in your career, or a task in a job, it's like, you're not going to be able to be an expert in Python and all these things. Even as an ethical hacker, there's so much. Yeah, there are your amazing, wonderful geniuses that can, go write, malware and do reverse engineering. But I've been doing pen testing for several years, and I just can't do that. But I know who to call. Like, hey, we're trying to, evade this antivirus, and that's not my area. But you need to be able to know who to go to and have that relationship formed in the early stages. That way you're not just reaching out and calling somebody for help, kind of deal. So the biggest thing is just, whatever path you're on, wherever you're at now, just, keep moving forward, but definitely don't do it alone.
I like that. It just reminds me of that military perspective, right? That team perspective. So I can see how that has fashioned your current perspective. Patrick, fun question, final question. What's your favorite piece of retro technology that just makes you smile?
Actually, behind me, I have or actually my wife and I both have our original Nintendos from the 80s. She actually has the original box. It's have a background on it. You see my nasty shop, but that, and we have an old arcade system too. So try to get my kids off of their virtual reality and so we have a CRT TV, 27-inch, weighs 115 pounds, so that we played Duck Hunt quite often. So that's probably our favorite piece. So
I, I love that your wife has hers as well. So I can tell that you married into the nerd family. I love it. Yeah.
yeah, we have a lot. Yeah, she has her original box from 1989. So it's cool.
Wow. Patrick, thank you for being on the Cyber Pro podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Cyber Pro podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on new podcasts and bonus content.